Having no evidences pointing to the accused, Mr. Mike Adekunle, this honorable court finds you guilty as charged. Mr. Michael Adekunle is hereby sentenced to 35 years imprisonment with hard labor. Mike and Shantel are shattered by the injustice of the verdict. They cling to each other in tearful disbelief, unable to comprehend the severity of the sentence. In the vibrant city of Enugu State, Nigeria, Shantel Oba, a 25-year-old beauty with a tall, graceful figure, was the epitome of elegance and charm. Born into the prestigious Oba family, she grew up in luxury, her every need catered to by her influential father, Chief Oba. Despite her privileged background, Shantel was known for her humility and kindness, traits that set her apart from many of her wealthy peers. She excelled academically and was deeply involved in various university activities, earning the admiration of both students and faculty at the prestigious University of Nsukka. Michael Adekunle, on the other hand, a 27-year-old man of humble origin, handsome with an athletic build, he was known for his determination and hard work. Coming from a modest family in Enugu, Mike had to work multiple jobs to support his education. His resilience and perseverance were evident in his academic performance, and he was highly respected among his peers for his integrity and sincerity. Mike was studying engineering, a field he was passionate about, hoping it would one day lift him and his family out of poverty. The bustling campus of the University of Nsukka was always alive with activity, a melting pot of dreams and aspirations. It was during a charity event organized by the university that Shantel and Mike's path first crossed. Shantel, as the event coordinator, was overseeing the arrangements, ensuring everything went smoothly. Her poised demeanor and effortless beauty caught the attention of everyone present. Mike, volunteering at the event to earn some extra credits, was busy setting up equipment. As he struggled with a particular stubborn piece of machinery, Shantel noticed and walked over to offer her assistance. Their eyes met, and for a moment, time seemed to stand still. Shantel's warm smile and Mike's grateful nod marked the beginning of an unexpected connection. "You need a hand?" Shantel asked, her voice soft yet confident. Mike looked up, slightly taken aback by her presence. "I'd appreciate it, thanks," he replied, trying to maintain his composure. As they walked together, their conversation flowed naturally. They discovered shared interest in literature and music, and despite their different backgrounds, a mutual respect began to form. Shantel was intrigued by Mike's dedication and humility, while Mike was captivated by Shantel's genuine kindness and down-to-earth nature. In the weeks that followed, Shantel and Mike found themselves drawn to each other. They would often meet in the library, discussing their studies and dreams. Shantel admired Mike's resilience and the way he never let his circumstances define him. Mike, in turn, was enchanted by Shantel's ability to remain grounded despite her affluent upbringing. Their relationship blossomed as they spent more time together. Study sessions turned into dates and casual conversations evolved into deep, meaningful discussions. Shantel and Mike's love story was like a beautiful symphony, each note perfectly complementing the other. Despite the societal expectations and potential challenges they might face, they were determined to make their relationship work. Despite their deepening love and shared dreams, the first signs of the potential challenges began to emerge. Shantel's privileged background and Mike's humble beginnings became a subtle yet persistent undercurrent in their relationship. While they themselves were largely unconcerned by these differences, the same could not be said for those around them. Shantel's friends from her social circle, accustomed to the trappings of wealth, often made offhand remarks about Mike's financial situation. Though they tried to be polite, their disapproval was palpable. Shantel would defend Mike fiercely, but the dissonance left her feeling isolated from her old friends. One evening, at a lavish party hosted by one of Shantel's friends, The divide became starkly evident. The guests, all from wealthy backgrounds, spoke in tones of thinly veiled disdain about those they considered beneath them. Mike, who had accompanied Shantel, felt the weight of their judgment. Despite his effort to engage in conversations, he was met with polite indifference at best. Shantel noticed the discomfort and took Mike's hand, leading him out onto the balcony. "I'm sorry," she whispered, her eyes filled with apology. "They don't understand." Mike gave her a reassuring smile. "It's okay, Shantel. I'm used to it. As long as we have each other, that's what matters." However, the greatest challenge came from Shantel's father, Chief Oba. Chief Oba was a formidable figure in Enugu society, known for his wealth, power, and influence. As the head of the Oba family, he commanded respect and wielded considerable authority in both business and political circles. His imposing presence and sharp mind had earned him a reputation as a shrewd businessman and a dedicated philanthropist. Despite his stern exterior, he had a deep love for his family, especially for his only daughter, Shantel. Chief Oba had always envisioned a bright future for Shantel, filled with success and stability. He had meticulously planned her education, ensuring she attended the best schools and received the finest opportunities. His expectations for her were high, and he wanted nothing but the best for her, including in matters of the heart. Chief Oba's subtle attempt to dissuade Shantel from seeing Mike began. He would drop hints about suitable suitors from affluent families, and most times questioned Mike's ability to provide a stable future. Shantel, unwavering in her love, stood firm against her father's veiled criticisms. Despite these challenges, Shantel and Mike's love continued to grow, undeterred by the obstacles they faced. They remained committed to each other and to the future they envisioned together, determined to overcome any hurdle that came their way. Little did they know their love would soon be tested in ways they could never have imagined, setting the stage for a battle that would challenge their very essence. By the end of their university days, Shantel and Mike had become inseparable. Their love, built on mutual respect and understanding, was strong enough to withstand any obstacle. After their graduation ceremony, the campus was alive with celebration. Friends and families gathered to congratulate the graduates, capturing the moment with photographs and heartfelt hugs. Shantel and Mike stood together, absorbing the magnitude of their achievements and the excitement of the new beginnings that lay ahead. Later that evening, they attended a small gathering at a cozy restaurant to celebrate with close friends. As they raised their glasses in a toast, Shantel couldn't help but feel a sense of gratitude for the journey they had shared and the future they were about to embark on. The days following graduation were a whirlwind of activity, as graduates began to secure their paths forward. Shantel, with her stellar academics record and impressive internship experiences, received multiple job offers. One in particular stood out, a prestigious position at a renowned multinational corporation based in Enugu. It was a dream opportunity, offering her a chance to make a significant impact in the business world. When Shantel shared the news with Mike, her excitement was palpable. "Mike, can you believe it? I got the job at Eco Enterprises," she exclaimed, her eyes sparkling with joy. Mike hugged her tightly, his heart swelling with pride. "That's incredible, Shantel. I knew you could do it," he said, genuinely happy for her success. While Shantel's future seemed bright, Mike faced a more challenging path. Despite his academic achievements, finding a job in his field proved difficult. He sent out numerous applications and attended several interviews, but the responses were either rejections or requests for more experience than he had. The disparity in their immediate postgraduate experiences began to weigh on Mike. He couldn't help but feel a sense of inadequacy, fearing he might not be able to provide the life he and Shantel had envisioned. The financial pressures added to his stress as he had to continue working part-time jobs to support himself. As the rejection piled up, Mike's frustration and disappointment grew. He had expected some challenges, but the relentless strings of setbacks began to erode his confidence. The job market was fiercely competitive, and it seemed that every position he applied for was inundated with candidates who had more experience or connections. Realizing that he needed to make ends meet, Mike decided to take a job at a fast food restaurant in Enugu. It was far from what he had envisioned for himself after graduating with an engineering degree, but he knew he couldn't afford to be idle any longer. The job, though physically demanding and mentally exhausting, offered a steady income and the flexibility to continue his job search. Shantel remained his constant source of support, always encouraging him and reminding him of his worth. They would often meet after her work, finding solace in each other's company. Shantel admired Mike's resilience and his refusal to give up on his dreams even in the face of such adversity. As the weeks passed, Mike settled into a new routine. His days were a blend of early morning job applications, long hours at the fast food restaurant, and evenings spent with Shantel. Though it was not the life he had envisioned, he found strength in his love for Shantel and his unwavering belief in their future together. In the midst of his struggles, Mike's character and resolve were tested, shaping him into a man who was not only driven by ambition, but also grounded by love and perseverance. As he continued his journey, he held on to the hope that brighter days were ahead, and that his hard work would eventually lead him to the life he dreamed of. The rumors of Shantel's relationship with Mike had been circulating for some time, but Chief Oba had dismissed them as mere gossip, for he had thought his daughter was just fooling around with Mike as he tagged their relationship campus love, thinking it won't survive after her university days. However, as Shantel became more serious about Mike, it became clear to him that they were being serious. One evening, Shantel returned home to find her father waiting for her in his study, his expression serious. "Shantel, we need to talk," Chief Oba said, gesturing for her to sit down. Shantel's heart sank as she sensed the gravity of the conversation. "What is it, father?" she asked, trying to keep her voice steady. "I've been hearing things about you and that boy named Mike. Is it true that you're still seeing him?" Chief Oba asked, his tone leaving little room for evasion. Shantel took a deep breath, deciding to confront the issue head on. "Yes, father, it's true. Mike and I are in a serious relationship," she admitted, her voice firm. Chief Oba's eyes narrowed as he scrutinized his daughter's face. "Do you realize what you're doing, Shantel? This boy, Mike, he's not from our world. He can't provide for you the way you deserve. Why are you involving yourself with someone so beneath your status?" he questioned, his voice laced with disapproval. Shantel felt a surge of frustration and determination. "Father, Mike is not beneath me. He's hardworking, intelligent, and kind. He may not come from a wealthy family, but he has something more important: integrity and a good heart. I love him and I believe in our future together," she said passionately. Chief Oba's expression hardened. "Love is not enough, Shantel. You need stability and security. This boy can't offer you that. You have a bright future ahead of you, filled with opportunities. Don't throw it away for a fleeting romance," he warned. Shantel shook her head, tears of frustration welling up in her eyes. "It's not a fleeting romance, father. Mike and I have been through so much together. He supported me and believed in me when no one else did. We share the same dreams and values. Why can't you see that?" she pleaded. Chief Oba sighed, his frustration evident. "Shantel, my daughter, I'm doing this for your own good. I want you to have a life free from struggle and hardship. Mike may be a good person, but he's not right for you. You need to end this relationship before it's too late," he said firmly. Despite Shantel's heartfelt defense of her relationship with Mike, Chief Oba remained adamant in his disapproval. He couldn't see beyond the disparity in their social and economic backgrounds, convinced that Mike would never be able to provide the life he envisioned for his daughter. In the days that followed, the tension between Shantel and her father grew. Shantel continued to see Mike, defying her father's wishes. She knew that their love was real and that they could overcome any obstacle together. However, the strain of her father's disapproval weighed heavily on her, casting a shadow over her happiness. One evening, after another heated argument with her father, Shantel met Mike at their favorite cafe. As she sat across from him, her eyes filled with worry and frustration. She felt a sense of helplessness. "Mike, my father doesn't understand. He's so set in his ways, so convinced that we can't make this work because of where you come from," she said, her voice trembling. Mike reached out and took her hand, his touch a comforting reminder of their bond. "Shantel, I'm not going to give up on us. We'll find a way to make him see that our love is real and that we are capable of building a future together, he said, his voice steady and reassuring. Shantel nodded, drawing strength from his unwavering support. I believe in us, Mike. You just have to stay strong and face whatever challenges come our way, she said, determined to fight for their love. The sun had just started to set over Enugu, casting a warm golden hue over the bustling streets. Mike had just finished his shift at the fast food restaurant and was heading back to his modest one-room apartment. He was tired but determined to spend his evening working on job applications. However, as he approached his apartment building, he noticed an unfamiliar sleek black car parked outside. Mike's heart skipped a beat when he saw Chief Oba step out of the car. His imposing figure immediately recognizable. Dressed in a crisp agbada, Chief Oba radiated authority and purpose. Mike felt a knot tighten in his stomach but steeled himself for whatever was about to come. Chief Oba stood waiting as Mike approached, his expression inscrutable. Good evening, sir, Mike greeted respectfully, trying to keep his voice steady. Good evening, Mike, Chief Oba replied, his tone clipped. We need to talk. Mike led Chief Oba into his humble apartment. The stark contrast between their worlds evident in the sparse furnishings and the small cluttered space. Chief Oba looked around with a hint of disdain before turning his attention back to Mike. Let's get straight to the point, Chief Oba said, his voice firm. I understand you're in a relationship with my daughter, Shantel. I'm here to make you an offer. Mike's heart pounded in his chest as he listened. What kind of offer, sir? Chief Oba reached into his pocket and pulled out a checkbook. He quickly scribbled a figure and tore the check from the book, handing it to Mike. This is a significant amount of money, enough to set you up comfortably and help you start a new life elsewhere. In return, I want you to leave Shantel alone and never contact her again. Mike looked at the check, his eyes widening at the substantial sum written on it. For a moment, the temptation was almost overwhelming. The money could solve many of his problems, provide him with financial security, and give him a fresh start. But then he thought of Shantel and the love they shared, a love that was worth far more than any amount of money. Mike took a deep breath, his resolve hardening. He handed the check back to Chief Oba, his eyes meeting the older man's with unwavering determination. Thank you for the offer, sir, but I can't accept it. I love Shantel genuinely from the bottom of my heart. No amount of money can change that. Chief Oba's eyes flashed with anger and he took a step closer to Mike, his towering presence intimidating. Do you realize what you're giving up? This money could change your life, set you up for a future you could never achieve on your own. Mike stood his ground, his voice steady. I understand, sir, but Shantel and I have something special, something real. I can't put a price on that. I won't leave her. Chief Oba's expression darkened, his frustration palpable. You are a fool, Mike. Do you think love is enough to sustain a future? You would drag Shantel down with you into a life of struggle and hardship? She deserves better. Mike's jaw tightened, but he remained calm. I believe we can build a future together despite the challenges. Shantel knows what she's getting into, and she's made her choice. We love each other, and we'll make it work. Chief Oba's face contorted with anger. You are delusional if you think I will stand by and watch my daughter ruin her life with you. This is your last chance, Mike. Take the money and walk away. Mike shook his head, his resolve unshaken. I'm sorry, sir, but my answer is the same. I love Shantel and I won't leave her. Chief Oba's fury reached the boiling point, but he managed to keep his voice low and menacing. You will regret this decision, Mike. I will not allow you to continue seeing my daughter. I have better plans for her and I will not let you ruin it. With those final words, Chief Oba turned and left the apartment, leaving Mike standing alone, a mixture of fear and determination churning inside him. He knew that Chief Oba's threats were not to be taken lightly, but he also knew that his love for Shantel was worth fighting for. As the door closed behind Chief Oba, Mike felt a wave of resolve wash over him. He had stood up for his love and he was ready to face whatever challenges came his way. Little did he know, the battle for their love was just beginning, and the stakes were about to become much higher. After the confrontation with Mike, Chief Oba returned to his mansion, seething with anger. The young man's defiance had only strengthened his resolve to separate him from Shantel. Chief Oba had always been a man who got what he wanted, and he was not about to let a mere commoner ruin his meticulously planned future for his daughter. Sitting in his study, Chief Oba contemplated his next move. The offer of money had failed, and it was clear that Mike's feelings for Shantel were genuine. Conventional methods had not worked, so he concluded that more drastic measures were necessary. His mind turned to a dark solution, one that would ensure Mike was permanently out of the picture. Chief Oba reached for his phone and dialed a number he rarely used, one associated with the darker aspects of his influence. The man on the other end was known as Tiger, a shadowy figure who handled problems that required discreet and often lethal solutions. Chief Oba, the voice on the other end, greeted him with a tone of weary respect. "What can I do for you, sir?" "I have a situation that requires immediate attention," Chief Oba said, his voice cold and determined. "There is a young man named Mike who needs to be dealt with permanently." Tiger listened silently, his mind already calculating the logistics. "Consider it done, Chief. I'll handle it discreetly. Where can I find this Mike?" Chief Oba provided the necessary details, including Mike's address and a description of his daily routine. "Make sure it's quick and clean. I don't want any loose ends," he instructed. "Understood," Tiger replied. "I'll take care of everything." As Chief Oba ended the call, a grim sense of satisfaction settled over him. The plan was in motion, and soon Mike would no longer be a problem. Meanwhile, Mike remained blissful, unaware of the impending danger. His days were consumed with work at the fast food restaurant and his ongoing job search. Despite the stress and exhaustion, his thoughts often turned to Shantel, their shared dreams, and the love that kept him going. The night was humid and heavy with anticipation as Tiger prepared for the assignment. Dressed in dark clothing that blended seamlessly with the shadows and equipped with tools of his trade, he approached Mike's apartment with silent determination. The plan was straightforward: eliminate the obstacle and vanish without a trace. Inside the apartment, Stanley, Mike's friend way back from school, came visiting. Unaware of the danger closing in, hummed softly to himself as he prepared a late-night snack in the dimly lit room. His movements relaxed and routine while waiting for Mike to return from work. Tiger's entrance was swift and methodical. Approaching Mike's apartment door, he readied himself for the decisive moment. With practiced precision, Tiger packed the lock and entered the dimly lit interior. A sudden noise startled Stanley, who turned just in time to see a shadowy figure lunge towards him. A brief struggle ensued, the sounds of impact and desperate gasps echoing through the apartment. In the chaos of the moment, Tiger's intention became tragically obscured, and within seconds, the deed was done. Stanley lay motionless on the floor, as a pool of crimson spreading beneath him. The realization hit Tiger like a thunderbolt. A critical mistake had been made. Horror and disbelief mingled with the adrenaline rush of the failed mission. Chief Oba, upon hearing of the failed assassination, was furious. Tiger had made a grave error, killing the wrong man and leaving Mike alive. The repercussions were immediate, and Chief Oba realized that the situation was now more complicated than ever. He then said, "We'll make it look like Mike invited Stanley over and killed him in cold blood. That way, our tracks will be covered." Meanwhile, Mike had returned from his late shift at the restaurant. As he approached his apartment door, a sense of unease settled over him, the hairs on his neck prickling with an unexplained foreboding. Pushing open the door, Mike's heart lurched in his chest at the sight that greeted him. The apartment was eerily quiet, the air thick with the metallic tang of blood. His eyes fell upon Stanley's lifeless form sprawled on the floor. No, this can't be happening," Mike whispered, his voice hoarse with disbelief and anguish. He rushed to Stanley's side, kneeling beside his friend's body. The reality of the situation crashed over him like a tidal wave, rendering him momentarily speechless. Tears streamed down Mike's cheeks as he cradled Stanley's lifeless form, the weight of loss and confusion bearing down on him. He couldn't comprehend why this had happened, why Stanley was dead, and why he had been spared. But amidst the tumult, one chilling realization dawned upon him. He was now entangled in a nightmare from which there seemed to be no escape. Morning light filtered weakly through the curtains of Mike's apartment, casting a pallid glow over the scene of tragedy. The police had arrived swiftly in response to a neighbor's frantic call, the serenity of the dawn shattered by the grim discovery within. Mike sat in stunned silence, his mind reeling from the events of the night. Detectives moved around the apartment, their voices a distant murmur as they meticulously gathered evidence and catalogued the crime scene. The weight of grief and disbelief hung heavily in the air, choking the very breath from Mike's lungs. Amidst the chaos, Mike's world crumbled further when a detective approached him with solemn determination. "Michael Adekunle, you're under arrest for the murder of Stanley Obi, and whatever you say or do can and will be used against you in the court of law." The detective announced, his words a brutal indictment that shattered any remaining semblance of normalcy. Confusion and horror engulfed Mike as he was handcuffed, his protest drowned out by the relentless machinery of justice. "I didn't do this! I didn't do this! Stanley was my friend," he pleaded desperately, his voice cracking with anguish and disbelief. The detective's expression remained impassive, unmoved by Mike's protestations. "Save it for your lawyer, boy," he replied curtly, leading Mike away from the scene of devastation. In the aftermath of Stanley's tragic death, Chief Oba wasted no time in leveraging his influence and connections. He knew that this turn of events presented a golden opportunity to rid his daughter's life of Mike once and for all. Through careful, cultivated relationships and financial influence, Chief Oba ensured that the investigation into Stanley's murder would proceed swiftly and decisively. Witness statements were manipulated, evidence selectively presented, and Mike's alibis dismissed as inconsequential. Chief Oba's influence cast a long shadow over the proceedings, twisting justice into a tool of vengeance and retribution. Despite Mike's vehement protests and the absence of any concrete evidence linking him to the crime, the wheels of justice ground inexorably onward. The accusations against him solidified, fueled by Chief Oba's relentless campaign to eradicate the perceived threats to his family's honor and reputation. As Mike languished in his cell, his spirit battered but not broken, he clung to the flickering ember of hope for justice, for redemption, and for the truth to emerge from the suffocating grip of lies and deceit. But in the corridors of power and privilege, the path to truth seemed obscured by the shadow of Chief Oba's influence, leaving Mike teetering on the precipice of a fate he could scarcely comprehend. The trial begins amidst a media frenzy and public scrutiny. Mike's defense lawyers fight tirelessly to prove his innocence, presenting alibis and character witnesses. Mike faces overwhelming odds as Chief Oba's influence distorts witness testimonies and suppresses crucial evidences. Shantel stands by Mike's side throughout the trial, attending every session and seeking legal advice to aid his defense. Despite efforts to expose the truth, Chief Oba's power manipulates the judicial process, casting doubt on Mike's credibility and sabotaging defense strategies. In the end, the judge, influenced by Chief Oba's connections, delivers a devastating verdict. Having all evidences pointing to the accused, Mr. Mike Adekunle, this honorable court finds you guilty as charged. Mr. Michael Adekunle is hereby sentenced to 35 years imprisonment with hard labor. Mike and Shantel are shattered by the injustice of the verdict. They cling to each other in tearful disbelief, unable to comprehend the severity of the sentence. In a gut-wrenching scene, Mike is torn from Shantel's embrace as he is led away by prison guards. Their promises of love and hope echo through the courtroom, haunting them both.